Studies prove you need to be motivated internally. External motivation comes second. Coming to the end of the video, you will learn why such order is important. The first motivational hack I want to share with you today is about perception and its influence on willpower. Our perception can either weaken or strengthen our willpower, and many of us see big tasks for what they are, big tasks. If you perceive your task as one big ball of work, you will be stressed. Willpower will decrease. But if you break up the task into sections before worrying about how you would finish, your willpower increases. This is because of confidence. So here's an exercise for you. Take any task from your to-do list and break it up into sections. Simplify each section, because the more simple they are, the easier they become, or the easier you perceive them to be. Then you want to apply the second motivational hack called progress awareness. Progress awareness is when you take the time to observe how far you have advanced towards your goal. This in fact has a stupendous benefit according to a study called "Does monitoring goal progress promote goal attainment?" They found that monitoring your progress creates well-being, satisfaction, and happiness. Of course, that's as long as your goals are in line with your true motives and desires. This practice works because of something called motivational salience and a neurotransmitter called dopamine. Motivational salience is a cognitive process and a form of attention that motivates or propels an individual's behavior towards or away from a particular object, perceived event, or outcome. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter, plays a major role in this process. To simplify, dopamine helps motivate us towards behaviors which has a punishment and encourages behaviors which promises a reward. If finishing your job or assignment on time has an anticipated reward, dopamine will push you to finish your work. No wonder why the study also found that the more frequent participants monitored their goals, the more likely they were to achieve them. Because progress is the reward you unfold through monitoring, and progress, the reward, tells dopamine, "I need you, dopamine, to help me to do this again so I may get another reward." Bam! More dopamine is released. So what more can I say? Again, break down your task into smaller sections as I explained in my book. The more sections you create, the more chances of dopamine being released as you monitor the progress of each section. The third motivational hack is active problem solving. This is where you focus on the solution, not the emotion created by the problem. For example, you could desire to visit the gym, but you may feel discouraged because of fatigue. To address this feeling, first, identify the cause of the emotion. In this case, it's fatigue. Then focus on fixing that. Start off simple. You may say any or all of the following. I am going to take a rest before I go to the gym. I am going to get myself an energy drink. I am going to warm up. I am going to change my diet to a more energy efficient one. That way I can naturally feel motivated to exercise. Active problem solving could also motivate you to study. Simply ask yourself, how can I feel more driven to study? Then you'll research. You'll come across stuff like nootropics, the 10 brain foods that make studying effortless, or the 5 best ways to stay focused while studying. By the way, did you notice how I broke down the solution for going to the gym? Do you know why I did that? By now you should know. Remember, monitor the progress. Furthermore, celebrate, since studies suggest that rejoicing also triggers dopamine. I am about to show you an even more interesting hack. It involves self-talk. Self-talk is an important practice for self-motivation and confidence. But there's a catch. A study was done concerning self-talk, saying how you do it matters. One concept which arose from this study is self-distancing. This deals with how intimately we refer to ourselves while self-talking. The more we use I, the more emphasis we place on ourselves. Using I creates the spotlight effect. This leads to less self-love and acceptance, and of course, decreased self-confidence. But the study suggests that if you use your name instead when referring to yourself, this creates distance. As a result, you see yourself from a different perspective. For example, don't say, "How am I going to finish this task?" Replace I with your name. Then you may say, Michael, you could do this. You're a boss. You wouldn't say that if you first use I. Speak to yourself using your name. Whether it's something not so good you need to say, still say it. And tell me how different it feels. I'm expecting you to feel a lot more compassion and willingness to help yourself. After doing this, it becomes easier to attain the best motivational component to date. Internal motivation. It's the last motivational hack you must understand. Richard Ryan and Edward D.C., two young psychologists from the University of Rochester, met in 1977. The two went on to develop the self-determination theory. To get a general idea, here's what Ryan said concerning self-determination theory. We are interested in what we would call high-quality motivation when people would be wholeheartedly engaged in something. Once you are wholeheartedly engaged in something, I venture to say you need no other type of motivation. Just take Elon Musk for an example. He puts his all into anything he does. He's internally driven. Though money is necessary, it isn't his number one goal with Tesla or SpaceX and other companies. Elon Musk puts his internal motivation before his external motivation. Try to do the same. That way, when external motivational factors such as money or appraisal or other rewards fail, your external motivation will keep pushing you. Deci conducted a study involving two groups of psychology students and was divided into 3 sessions. Session 1, both groups were given a Soma cube puzzle to solve. Session 2, the same puzzle was given, but only one group was paid. Session 3, the puzzle is given again, but neither group is paid. Now, during session 3, the group which was paid appeared to have no motivation as the group which wasn't paid. Some didn't even bother with the puzzle. What can you learn here? You must be internally driven. The study also suggests that money or grades in school or a desire for social approval can actually undermine our appreciation for the project and thereby deplete our internal motivation. The lesson: if there is no love behind what you do, then internal motivation dies. Love for what you do could stem from appreciation. Appreciation could stem from a vision of the long-term benefits. Above all, strive to love what you do, at least for the sake of the external rewards it brings. I need a rest now. How about you? See you next week.